Hey guys, I saw something really interesting that I wanted to share with you. Recently I had made a video talking about this photo in the boxing gym that you had to shoot down. And all the photos on the wall are of people that play a major part in the development of Shadows of Evil. And this one boxer's picture that you can actually shoot down, his name is Mark Maestas, and he's one of the head developers at Treyarch. And the only way to get this picture off the wall is to shoot it with the upgraded Kuda, which is called the Crocutta. And a crocutta is actually a hyena. And in my video I talk about how I was investigating to find out what was going on, and I found this guy's Twitter, and his Twitter name was actually Mecha Hyena, which matches up to the gun. After I had put all these pieces together, I got an anonymous tip to say, yeah, all his gamer tags are hyena as well. Then I got a tweet from him saying, I like the way you think, so we're definitely on the right track here. And him also saying that made me wonder, like, you know, is this the way we're supposed to be thinking about Easter eggs? And then I saw this other tweet that he put out. After I put out that video, I think a lot of people started to message him and like ask him questions. One guy asks, are there other Pack-a-Punch gun names after other developers or their nicknames, or is their Crocutta the only one? And he says yes, there are other Pack-a-Punch gun names after other developers, and no, the Crocutta is not the only one. I was a little surprised to see him giving out this information, but it may not be a big deal, it may not be Easter egg stuff, it's probably just some inside stuff that they do for themselves. I know they've put a lot of the developers' names all over the store signs and stuff, so yeah, it's most likely nothing. But he did tweet something later on, and I'm going to show you guys that. But when he started to talk about these guns like being linked with developers, I started to notice some of the names of the guns. I was like, these are some crazy names, and I really wanted to investigate and find out more about them. So I've made a list of all the guns, their regular names, and then their Pack-a-Punch names. The Pack-a-Punch names are the blue ones on top. So we've already identified that the Kuda upgrades into the Crocutta, which means hyena, and is linked to Mark Maestas. So I went through all of the names and just researched the ones that really stood out. Some of the names are really generic, and you just really can't like Google or search it. It's just going to give you something very general. And if some of these very general names are linked to some of the developers, then you may have to know them personally to know like what they're interested in, to know how it links to them, and that may take some time to investigate. So this first one here is the Heliacal Incandescence, and this is the rocket launcher on Shadows of Evil. And the Heliacal is a star that occurs annually in like the eastern horizon, and then incandescence obviously is the emission of electromagnetic radiation. Now, I'm not going to speculate about whether or not this is some gun that we can use for an Easter egg. I just wanted to give you guys information like what these names could possibly mean. This next one here is the dire wolf, which is a wolf that actually existed. It's extinct now, and it was in the North and South America regions. This next one is really interesting, and this one kind of leads us more into Lovecraft, and that's kind of some of the theme of Shadows of Evil. And big shout out to Kind of Okay on Reddit. I'm gonna link a post that he made on Reddit. He's got his own take on what he thinks some of the names of these guns mean. This one's pronounced trapezohedron shard, and it's referenced inside of one of Lovecraft's stories. It's saying that this trapezohedron is an artifact, and it serves as a window on all of space and time. And if you were holding it, it would summon this guy. I've also seen this trapezohedron shard referenced in Age of Conan, an online multiplayer role-playing game, where this trapezohedron shard is something you have to get from a boss fight, and he'll drop it and you pick it up and you can go build like special equipment and guns and stuff with it. This next one here is the Gorgon that upgrades into Athena's spear. Now Gorgon is actually what Medusa is, and Medusa and Athena definitely have a lot of interaction in Greek mythology, and Athena holds like a shield and a spear, so that could be some of the story behind this. The KRM-262 upgrades into the Dagon's Glare, and where you can see the word Dagon is another Lovecraft reference. It's a story from Lovecraft, so you know, could be more of that theme that we're seeing here on the map. This next one is the Draken, and this is one of the snipers. And they're saying that a Draken is a mythical giant monster serpent-like creature. The upgraded version is called the Bahamut, and I've seen two references to this. It is referenced in Dungeons and Dragons as like kind of a flying dragon creature, and then it's also referenced in Arabian mythology as a vast fish that has like this hippopotamus or elephant type face. The upgraded Man of War is the Dread Armada, and Armada means a fleet of warships. This last one here is the SVG-100, and it's one of the snipers, and the upgraded word is Aiken Hasatsu, and it's a Japanese karate term that means to kill with one strike. So those are some of the gun names that really stood out to me, and there's still going to be a lot of like checking into these guns, you know, messing around with them, seeing if they do anything towards Easter egg steps on Shadows of Evil, but at least it's good to know, you know, we got to start here on kind of like what some of them do mean. So now let's get into the other message that Mark Maestas tweeted. Now remember, this guy is one of the head developers at Treyarch for like Zombies. Somebody asked him, also, is it true there's still undiscovered Easter eggs in the older maps? He said yes, he knows that no one has truly solved the Mob of the Dead ADFGX cipher. He's sorry that it was too hard and he can't talk about the others. And what he's talking about is the loading screen in Mob of the Dead before you start the game. Up at the top right, there is a cipher code up there, and I'll zoom in on it right here. So this is a 5-character cipher, and it was used in World War I by the Nazis. They would send these messages to each other so that the other people couldn't read them, and this is made up of a key square and a key word. You know, you would make this grid here and put the corresponding letters at the top and left margin, and then try to solve what it was trying to say. But I guess nobody has done this yet. Maybe, you know, if we have time, we can look into this again. I just thought that was really cool to like get some information about some of the stuff that hadn't been solved. But let me know what you guys think about all this, and we'll see you next video.